moments. When life flashes before us, we find something. Something that keeps us going. Something that pushes us. A famous explorer once said that the extraordinary is in what we do, not who we are.
Normally when you quote someone, you're supposed to give credit at the end. In this case they don't, because no famous explorer ever said this.
So a game isn't allowed to make up its own material then?
In our darkest moments, we find something. Something that keeps us going.
This opening narration is all about finding the strength within yourself to survive when in danger. But here Laura doesn't find any inner strength at all. She's safe from drowning by a crew member. Sort of negates your whole opening narration.
These opening statements in actuality are referring to the events of the game in its entirety. Lara goes through quite a lot in this reboot compared to the 1996 original and Tomb Raider Legend.
After being strung up from the ceiling, Laura's escape plan is to set herself on fire and fall 2 stories headfirst onto a stone floor. This is stupid for 2 reasons, not just the falling on your head part. There is no guarantee that setting the bag on fire would have also burned through the ropes. You might have just hung there and burned alive without falling.
What else could Lara have done to free herself given these circumstances, especially her lack of equipment or tools? The likely guarantee would have been that she would have been killed had she decided to hang there and do nothing.
The developers like this QuickTime event so much they use it again 5 minutes later.
It's a way to keep the player engaged rather than just watching a cinematic cutscene play out.
Some considerate soul went across the entire island marking climbable ledges with white paint.
Well, I want to take time in this scene to thank the person that decided to do this. It made getting through this game easier. I mean, with knowing where I can climb and where I couldn't.
Sam is supposed to be a professional filmmaker shooting a documentary, yet she's recording in 1080i on a handheld camcorder and points the camera directly at a mirror so she can take a selfie.
So what if Samantha is recording something not intended for a documentary? It's for a specific reason anyway. That's not a goddamn sin.
And when were you last in the field without a TV crew behind you?
Got 30 years experience, 2 PhDs, 1 in East Asian history, so why don't you just stick to boats, Mr. Grimm?
Ship, Dr. Whitman. It's a ship.
Come on, a sea captain this salty should be captain of a shrimp boat, not a multi-million-dollar research vessel like the Endurance. If you are going to use a stereotypical captain, at least put him on the right freaking boat.
So you have a problem with the shit talker rightfully getting shade thrown right back at him? Seems kind of familiar somehow. Also, Roth is the captain. He says it in this very scene.
That doesn't look good.
If it's wet, I can sail on it.
Oh, don't tell me you're seriously
Reyes is right. We don't have the funds to piss about. It's now or never. Lara's offering fresh ideas and a plan. I'm the captain here. It's my decision. We're going into the Dragon's Triangle.
Paying more attention so you get the characters right I know is a lost cause on you, but still, damn it.
Laura and the rest of the crew are searching for the lost island of Yamatai. This is a pretty common adventure plotline for stories set before the invention of satellite imaging, but in modern stories there should be no lost anything. Alex even mentions satellite imaging in this very cutscene. So what, you can use satellites for weather reports but not to look through Google Maps? Finding Yamatai should be as simple as finding the closest Starbucks.
What the hell does satellite imaging matter? The point of this expedition was to find Yamatai and explore it. The crew already has an idea of where it's located, but they weren't prepared for what would become of this expedition, like the storms for starters. And it's not like this place is in any way undiscovered, as the documents you can find throughout the island point out. Also, I really have to point out the hilarious irony of you mentioning a Google-related search, yet a Google search of your own would have ensured you at least get the correct spelling of the word satellite. You're getting extra sins for that.
After watching Sam's bad B-roll, Laura wakes in the morning in this shot, hunts and kills a deer in the next, and then it's night again by the time we see her cooking it. And she didn't travel some big distance. She hunted that deer a stone's throw from her campsite.
You're not getting away with scene manipulation because you can easily fool others to believe what you're saying is true. Take a look at these segments and just pay attention to the sky.
This is Conrad Roth, captain of the Endurance. We are shipwrecked on an island inside the Dragon's Triangle.
Roth!
Lara!
You're alive!
Easy, easy. Are you okay? What happened?
I remember the beach. Then it went black and I woke up in a cave. There was this crazy man, Roth, and a dead body.
Oh, God. Where are you now, Lara? Are you safe?
It was so horrible. It's all my fault. This is all my fault.
Lara, listen to me. I sent an SOS from the Endurance before I abandoned her. Hopefully someone caught it. I've spoken to the others. We're regrouping at my location.
Please come and get me.
I have to stay here. You can do this, Lara. Remember when we climbed Snowdon? You said the key was knowing that all you've got to do is just keep moving. Remember everything I've taught you, Lara. You're ready for this. And keep your radio on.
Okay. It's all my fault. This is all my fault.
Lara!
Correct. It is all your fault.
Stating the obvious for some reason?
You going to eat any of that deer you spent all day hunting and cooking? No? Just leave it on the spit? That a girl.
Alright, and now we've come to this one. I discovered something really strange when I reached this point while playing the game to do research for this video. You can clearly see it in Dartigan's video and in several others from other gamers online, but the deer meat in this shot shockingly is completely omitted, and this was in the version I have, which is the remastered definitive version on PS4. Now, as for the sin, even if Lara does leave the meat there, she doesn't return to this area anyway. Therefore, who cares if she leaves it where it is?
My manners. I'm sorry, I'm Matthias. A teacher by trade.
I haven't watched much of Lost, and even I can tell not to trust this shady-looking bastard. I bet he's a bad guy. Surprise, I was right.
But you already know this because you've played the game. So again, you're just stating the obvious.
Dandruff.
If that is dandruff, so what? It's not like Matthias has access to shampoo and conditioner, or has a private beauty salon on an island he's been stuck on for years that's away from modern civilization.
Legend says she had shamanistic powers.
And this is where she loses me.
Well, there's always some truth to myths.
Laura Croft, archaeologist, is bored and dismissive towards historical myths and legends of lost ancient civilizations. So, did you nod off during Greek and Egyptian mythology as well? Why go into this field if that's your attitude?
Lara is actually dismissive regarding the mystical and supernatural elements. You'd realize that if you'd paid attention.
Matthias, who we learn is a fanatical cult leader with a penchant for killing or brainwashing every man who washes up on his island and burning every woman, kidnaps Sam and leaves Laura sleeping peacefully by the fire.
He did that likely because he assumed Lara wouldn't be much trouble. He left her to the Solari after realizing Samantha's potential connection to Himiko.
Let go.
Since when do you need to fire a bullet to open a bear trap? It's not a padlock you don't have the key to. Reyes is just being unnecessarily dangerous in this scene because the developers saw one too many cliches of people opening locks in movies with guns.
It's been seen in games and movies, yes, but this is based on fact. Shooting the springs of a bear trap will cause it to collapse, making it easier to pull the jaws apart. And since it was Reyes who shot this thing, and she's an experienced mechanic, I think it's safe to assume she knows what the hell she's doing.
Is Sam with you?
she was with you.
Jonah has no way of knowing that Sam and Laura were together. Laura showed up after Sam finished talking on the radio, and then Sam was immediately kidnapped.
Jonah had no way of knowing Lara was with Samantha? Before Samantha was kidnapped, this happened.
Sam?
They'll need to follow the path. It's a good one.
Did you get that?
Got it.
We have a fire. Look for the smoke.
We're on our way.
Laura, you made it.
This obviously means that in the time frame between Lara falling asleep and before Samantha was abducted, Samantha likely contacted the crew and told them Lara was with her. It's why Reyes wasn't surprised upon finding Lara. Also, this atrocious spelling deserves 20 sins.
You girls should me go wandering off.
Really? That's the take they went with. Okay. Sound advice, if unintelligible.
Grimm is obviously trying to warn them of the dangers that are on this island.
Okay, let's split up.
Everyone then proceeds to wander off on their own.
Bullshit. And this sin is particularly misleading. Here's the whole scene since you cut everything after Reyes said, let's split up.
We need to find them.
Wait. What about Roth?
Okay, let's split up. One of us go with Laura and meet up with Roth. The rest of us should fan out and look for Sam.
I'll go with her. No. Let me.
You know how to use one of these?
It's been a while. It's all coming back to me.
Get to Roth. We'll find Sam and this Matthias guy.
You gonna be okay?
Yes, I probably just need to rest for a few minutes.
There's no doubt Himiko had power. Some say shamanistic, elemental.
A woman wields that much power, and sooner or later it gets called witchcraft.
Well, yeah, Laura, women using mystical powers connected to the earth, that's pretty much the textbook definition of witchcraft. Thanks for pointing out the obvious.
And thank you for completely missing Lara's point here. Lara doesn't believe in the mystical and elemental components that make up the Sun Queen's power. This is made clear at several instances throughout the game.
Madness. That's what this place is. Matthias thinks Himiko's spirit is keeping us here. That's not possible. It's not possible. But he's so beyond crazy that maybe he's come right back round to some kind of sane. The helicopter isn't our way off. You know that, Lara, in your gut. I have to warn the others. If we board it, we're dead.
I can't get it out of my head. A storm that came out of nowhere, out of a clear sky, and brought down a plane. It's not rational. You know it's not rational, Lara. There must be some explanation. I just don't know what it is yet.
What Lara is referring to is Himiko's political power and influence, which in turn contributed to myths and legends about her spreading.
This island, it must have once been part of Yamatai. You were right, Laura.
The Lost Kingdom.
It's like finding Atlantis.
Yeah, just like finding Atlantis, that place everyone over the age of 5 knows about because of countless books, movies, comics, games, and Leonard Nimoy documentaries. No one outside of Japan has ever heard of Yamatai. I had to look that shit up on Wikipedia.
Okay, what the hell are you criticizing here? Not everyone studies Japanese history or is very well educated about this fabled story. Just because you never heard of it doesn't justify this crappy-ass sin.
This makes the second time Laura's been captured in just the first hour alone. All of those years of being considered the best female in gaming, gone.
Okay, but why is that something that's wrong with this game? Her vulnerability is part of her characterization. She's not fucking Supergirl.
Don't you fucking move.
You realize that you only tied Laura's hands, right? Her legs are still more than capable of getting her ass out of there once you leave. You couldn't spend a minute tying her to a tree, maybe post a guard? Why would you expect her to stick around after she just watched you shoot a guy before leaving to hunt down and kill the rest of her friends?
Maybe he didn't do that because he felt murdering someone in front of her eyes would scare her shitless enough to simply comply with whatever he demands. Also, He may not have ordered someone to watch her, but he does order the other guards to bring her to him.
Hey, bring up the prisoner!
Yeah, I'm on it.
Attempted rape. Bonus sin for making this a QuickTime event.
Though he is being touchy and creepy, this isn't attempted rape. Look what happens if you fail the QTE. Also, for your bonus sin,
the developers like this QuickTime event so much they use it again 5 minutes later.
It's a way to keep the player engaged rather than just watching a cinematic cutscene play out. Dartigan repeats a sin to pad the sin counter cliche.
Laura goes from being horrified about killing another human being to not batting an eye about killing dozens of them in the course of one cutscene.
I get the criticism here, but Lara doesn't exactly have options on how to deal with this insane cult. This is about survival, and the Solari will not hesitate when the tables are turned. So even if she broke out in tears each and every time she kills one of these maniacs, she'd still have to do what she has to if she wants to live.
The thing about nightmares is sooner or later you wake up. But there's no waking up from this place, which means I'm really here. I'm really doing these things. No, don't think about it, Lara. Not now. It won't help.
Got another one! She went down over there!
Yamatai is located somewhere in the Sea of Japan, yet somehow all the survivors who washed up here are American.
Oh, is that right? Even this guy who speaks Russian?
Дай меня пистолет! Иди! Пошла! А ты ведь хорошенькая, да? Напоминаешь мою сестру.
Roth built a campfire on top of a wooden platform. Something tells me Roth is not the experienced adventurer he's made out to be.
Sweet lord, someone should have intervened a long time ago. Not all wood is flammable, genius. A 3-second Google search can tell you this.
We're gonna make you look like Gordon Ramsay in editing.
How are you going to make anyone look good at anything in editing when you only ever record half the scene?
And how the f*** do you know that? Do you actually have the footage on hand and can verify this with an eyewitness account? The game doesn't have to show us everything that is actually recorded on the camera, for God's sake.
Got great instincts, girl. He would have been so proud of you, Lara.
99% of Roth's dialogue in this game is giving Laura motivational support.
Even if that were true, it's part of Roth's characterization. He's Lara's mentor and obviously cares a lot for her.
How did these leaves get all over the console but not the rest of the room?
How stupid do you think your audience is, really? There are leaves here and here as well. And I'm not even going to get into the other obvious explanations how there could be leaves all over the place.
This radio tower still has power. I know that Germans are world-class engineers and all, but there is no way in hell anything on this island is producing electricity.
Someone else played this game for you, didn't they? That has to be the case, because there are many instances of areas with functioning electricity, so this radio tower being functional is believable. Besides, we also have this conversation to debunk what you're saying.
There's no one up here! They never make it up this far! Should we head back up to the bunker? Nah, let's wait out the storm. Got it! Stay alert! Let's move inside!
We got some time. Might as well relax. Probably put us on rec duty later. What do you think they use it for? What, the radio tower? Yeah. It still works, right? Probably. We got people up there guarding it day and night. Probably Matthias doesn't go anywhere near it. You think he has a line on the outside? Why do you think most survivors don't make it up this far? What do you mean? Matthias knows exactly when a new ship is coming in. We always have plenty of time to prepare.
So, he's fishing. Using that tower to our ships.
Exactly.
But why?
I think he's trying to find her.
You really believe in any of that?
Also, The setting of this game is an island east of Japan, and the Japanese occupied this island during World War II. Are you trying to say that only Germans have capable engineers?
I am all out of fucks to give over all the times Laura should have died but didn't.
You could just end the game right here then, and let Lara die in this sequence, but no, you have to subject us to more of this tripe.
Laura destroys historical ruins and doesn't bat an eye. Why did you become an archaeologist again?
I don't understand how you justify blaming Lara when most of the time it isn't even directly her fault. The Solari, I'd argue, are more to blame and scrutinize with the way they've defiled many of the places Lara comes across. Yeah, a lot of the places she visits are destroyed, but some of the causes are more due to the circumstances, like the Solari setting fire to locations she's inside of, events happening completely out of her control, like the rescue plane crashing, and in general, Lara being forced to defend herself to survive.
I'm really glad you moved.
Roth, who has an injured leg and uses that as an excuse not to climb the cliff to the radio tower, climbed up a cliff so he could have a campsite with a better view.
Even though I'd love to know how you know Roth climbed a cliff in order to get here, I'll remove a sin because yes, how the hell did Roth get here with that wound?
Kill her!
Matthias orders his men to kill Laura and they immediately disobey him by knocking her out.
I wouldn't say that was disobeying Matthias. The Solari may be commanded by Matthias, but some of them have free reign to kill however they please. They could have wanted to torture Lara. Also, again with this atrocious misspell.
So the Oni, a group of undead Japanese samurai who show no mercy and kill anyone who comes near their monastery, just drag Laura inside unconscious and string her up from the ceiling. They killed everyone else and had a good time doing it from the looks of this room. Why make the exception for Laura?
Because Lara is a woman. We get some insight into this in this document that you can find in the game.
Matthias has us look for physically strong men for the Brotherhood, but none too smart. They must be willing to take orders and work. Any who question or resist are immediately killed. And the women? Matthias decides their fate. Most are sacrificed to the Dark Walkers, but some are chosen for the ritual.
Also, I found this on the Tomb Raider wiki page. Unfortunately, this one you'll have to take with a grain of salt, because I couldn't find evidence of this in the game itself.
The developers like that opening QuickTime event so much they use it again 3 hours later.
Dartigan repeats a sin to pad.
Lara finds a shotgun on a dead German soldier and it works perfectly despite having not been oiled once since World War II and exposed to the elements for that entire time.
That's a common video game trope. Accept it and move on. Just like you accepted undead samurai warriors. And what elements are you talking about? I don't see fire or water anywhere here.
I hate tombs.
Ironic statement.
There's more than one way to interpret this line, but it's not ironic. It seems more likely this was a self-aware meta joke.
Wind this strong would easily blow Lara off this small ledge.
Obviously it isn't too strong because Lara isn't blown off the ledge she's shimmying through.
Good to know that the giant samurai from Sucker Punch found more work.
Dartigan makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of this game.
This entire game, Lara has been using arrows and ropes to get across gaps. But not here. She just wades right into that shit.
You notice the targets Lara shoots at in order to cross those said gaps? Now where do you see those before Lara tries to cross this river?
I'm sure Jurassic Park 2 is just happy that someone finally stole a scene from it.
And here we are with the birth of another cliche. Dartigan makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of this game, cliche.
Lara only had time to fasten the shoulder straps of this parachute, but somehow the waist strap is fastened as well as soon as the glass breaks.
Now that's another solid point.
Lara reopens the wounds she received at the beginning of the game, then spends the next 10 minutes unable to climb due to the pain of her injury. Why wasn't she in that much pain when first injured? Lara did all sorts of jumping and climbing minutes after she was impaled back in the cave.
An explanation for this could be that Lara was full of adrenaline. It acts as a natural painkiller, and the circumstances between then and now are very different. She's likely much more worn down and exhausted now compared to earlier with all of the hoops of fire she's been jumping through.
This area is completely different from when Lara saw it from on top of the mountain. There was no shantytown under the palace and both of the bridges were intact.
Which would be incredibly difficult to see with all of that wind and mist you encountered in that mountaintop. Hell, you can see the mist right here in the scene you show.
I'm sure Rambo 3 is just glad that someone finally stole a scene from it.
Dartigan makes a pop culture
FYI, cauterizing a wound doesn't heal it, it just stops it from bleeding. You are still seriously injured. In fact, using an arrowhead is only going to make your injury worse.
Thanks for pointing all of that out, genius. But the point of her doing this is to stop the bleeding and close the wound, which if she doesn't tend to, will lead to bigger problems. Which hospital should she have gone to in order to quickly handle this?
This arrow was just pulled out of Laura's stomach, yet there isn't a single drop of blood anywhere on it.
You're right about the lack of blood, but the wound she suffered was not in her stomach. It was right here. That's not where her stomach is located, Doc.
Oh no, that stereotypical character we spent all of 2 minutes getting to know.
No matter what little screen time this character had, he's known Lara for a long time, and he's one of 3 characters who give their lives to help her, so that makes this sin even more shitty.
Where did Roth get a high-powered rifle? I've seen both of his campsites and there was no rifle at either of them.
The scene that reveals these details is only found through secret dialogue that Lara can engage in with the Endurance crew.
Look, Lara, if you insist on doing this, don't take your time.
I'm sorry, Roth, but I can't just leave him out there alone. What about you?
I'm heading down the mountain. Maybe I can join up with the others. I can't just sit here. Get moving, Lara. The sooner you do this, the sooner you can join the rest of us. I found an old sniper rifle hidden in the ruins. Lucky me, eh? And it was loaded. Fuck. Anyway, I'm gonna see if I can get it working.
It's secretive, but it's there.
I've got a clear sight with my rifle until the palace wall.
Really? You were at a lower angle to the bridge. Anyone not on the side facing you is completely out of your line of sight. That is the opposite of having a clear shot.
Okay, seriously, dude, what the flying f*** are you on? You say all this bullshit when Roth does a quick scope of the bridge showing the Solari clear in his line of sight. Lara also climbs on the same side that we saw with Roth's scope. Jesus, man.
Rather than simply push Lara over the edge of the bridge she was sitting on, this genius decides to pull Lara back onto the bridge and into a headlock to break her neck. Efficiency, dude. Learn it.
This is in character and it's consistent traits among the Solari. Matthias prefers that his cult members not to be too smart.
Matthias has us look for physically strong men for the Brotherhood, but none too smart.
Lara has an automatic rifle and a clean shot at the antagonist, so of course she shoots an arrow at an unimportant side character instead. She chooses her bow over a machine gun and a shotgun, 2 infinitely better weapons in this situation.
And I'm gonna stop this shit right here before you say another fucking word. First, the so-called unimportant side character had a torch in his hand and was closest to Samantha as well as the biggest threat. It makes sense Lara would go for him first in an attempt to secure Samantha's safety first. Yes, she could have taken out Matthias, but that wouldn't have done too much in this situation. Matthias has a couple of loyal followers who likely would have continued his work, and we see them overpower Lara here. Second, the machine gun and the shotgun would not have been better weapons in this situation. Do you not see how close Samantha is to Matthias and the other Solari with the torch? Lara pulling out the machine gun with its high rate of fire and high recoil could run the possibility that Lara could hit Samantha accidentally. The shotgun would be equally dangerous because of the pellet shots it fires, which could more likely hit Samantha from that distance and Samantha's proximity to Matthias. The handgun could almost be the best choice if it weren't for the bow. Its ability to provide silent kills and its ability to fire accurately given Lara's skill made this the best choice.
This scene is cool and all, but there is no way in hell you can fall into a pool of human blood and not come out with some terrible disease. Lara likely has HIV, syphilis, hepatitis, and pink eye.
Given all the other incredible things Lara has survived thus far, I'll say she aight.
And where did all this blood come from? Do that many people wash up on Yamatai that killing them is enough to create thousands of gallons of blood?
Is that a serious question? Take a look at this compilation I put together. See if you can give me an approximate count of bodies. Mind you, the average human adult has 1.2 to 1.5 gallons of blood in their body.
If there is this much natural gas leaking into a closed area, like say a cave, everyone inside would have asphyxiated long ago.
You almost had this correct, except for the part about this cave being closed off. The only ones who are stuck down here are the prisoners.
No one leaves. That's what I heard in Japanese before the plane crashed.
I've watched that scene multiple times and no one says anything in Japanese or any other language for that matter.
Now, before I show the scene that debunks this crap, let me show you something, dude. Okay, so before I continue, so you can see this for yourself, and if you want to try it for yourself, go ahead, you're going to want to press the button on your controller that brings up this options menu. Next, you're going to highlight this option that says Display Options, and then select it so that this comes up. Again, using the directional buttons, highlight the one that's called Subtitles, and once more with the directional buttons, set it to On. All done? Great! Now let's watch the scene.
There it is!
You're searching for logic and reason where there is none.
Brother, you ain't kidding.
You damn Skippy. I didn't find a lot of logic or reasoning in this scene like almost every other thing I pointed out in this video.
Matthias walks out of the room saying he's going to do something about the fires, then returns a minute later from the other side of the room, having done nothing to stop the fires and somehow has had time to tie up Dr. Whitman.
If it wasn't obvious to you, I'll spell it out by showing the scene of what happens before Lara enters the throne room.
Laura, you're alive.
So are you. I mean, are you okay? What happened?
Once they stopped seeing me as a threat, they let me move about almost freely.
Did you know the others were captured?
Yes. Sam's in there, but I couldn't free her without a weapon. These Solari are an anthropological marvel, Laura.
They're insane murderers, Dr. Whitman. We need to get our people out of here.
Of course. I'll keep a lookout here. You call me when it's safe.
Go! All of you! Find the chosen one! This one is mine!
This guy gives orders to people who aren't even there.
Just because you don't see something, even though you see after this cutscene ends, doesn't mean it was never there.
Come on! Jump! You can do it!
Nope, she doesn't stand a chance in hell of making that jump. This isn't the PlayStation 1 Lara Croft who could backflip 10 feet.
Okay, so it's a problem that jumping physics in this game released in 2013 are a lot more realistic than they were in 1996? Gotcha.
Oh, now your leg is hurting Roth.
Roth has had plenty of time to let his leg heal up to this point, genius. Also, unlike Lara, he had some medical attention from a first aid kit. And yes, I know Lara isn't a nurse or anything like that, but it's better compared to her improvised techniques due to a lack of supplies.
Roth takes a hatchet to the back after running out of ammo when he could have just dodged to the side. Guess someone had to fill the heroic male quota for this game.
And Matthias or someone else in the scene would have still attacked. I again have to ask, how gullible do you think your audience is?
Wait, so you had another gun? Why did you wait until you took a fatal injury to use it?
He was holding Lara. In what moment while holding her with one arm on the side where his other handgun was holstered and trying to keep her safe from the attacking Solari, could he have grabbed it and defended her all at the same time?
Are you okay, Lara?
Is she okay? Because it's all about Lara, isn't it?
Roth is obviously dead. No need to ask if he's okay. And no need to be a bitch about it, Reyes.
Oh, sweet lord. When the f*** did anyone ask if Roth is okay? And Reyes has every right to be upset since she's hurting just as much, if not more than Lara, and yet Sam is only asking Lara if she's alright. Reyes loved Roth, and he fathered Reyes' daughter. What makes it more heartbreaking is that Reyes never told Roth this in person, so now that's another child among so many who won't really get to know their father. Reyes is also particularly hard on Lara, since this expedition to Yamatai was Lara's idea in the first place.
Sail on it.
Oh, don't tell me you're seriously
Reyes is right. We don't have the funds to piss about. It's now or never. Lara's offering fresh ideas and a plan. I'm the captain here. It's my decision. We're going into the Dragon's Triangle.
So yeah, Reyes' anger isn't exactly misplaced. And you skip the part where Reyes shows regret for saying what she said.
All about Lara, isn't it? Have you forgotten that she's the reason we're here?
That's not fair, Reyes.
You're right. I shouldn't have said that. It's just... Roth.
No one leaves. The storms. They're linked to the power of the Sun Queen.
If Lara didn't talk to herself so much, the audience would have no idea what was going on.
More like thinking out loud.
Let's talk about these storms that are supposed to crash everything that comes near the island. If that's the case, then how do you explain all the infrastructure the Japanese and German soldiers built? They put up a radio tower, a submarine base, even a freaking freight gondola. You can't build stuff like that with what you find washed up on the beach, so some of their cargo ships had to have made it through. Was Himiko just having a day off when that happened?
Okay, I can't believe I have to mention this, but it's abundantly clear that the Japanese occupied this island. Hell, this document even clearly spells this shit out for you.
Expedition Field Report. Despite loss of 2 cargo ships to intense storms, the expedition has made landfall. We've established a communications center high in the mountains, and coastal base construction has commenced. Initial surveys have revealed several possible excavation sites.
Also, misspelling Himiko. Guess how many sins you're getting for that? Yup.
This entire scene with the suspended boat deserves 5 more sins just for how improbable it was that Laura survived it.
Dartigan pads his sin counter.
Laura!
Alex will be sorry he missed out on this.
Yeah, 2 girls giving each other a friendly hug. That's a fucking party if I ever saw one. At least wait until they take their tops off before you break out the Bacardi.
You're not getting it. Alex has a thing for Lara, and Jonah clearly knows that.
So the tools Reyes needed to fix the boat was a wrench and a flathead screwdriver. I don't want to sound like a male chauvinist here, but I could make do without either of those in the same situation.
You talk real big for someone who's not in the same situation as these characters. Quite arrogant to definitively say what you would do if it was you.
Okay, Reyes, I'm getting close to the Endurance. What do you need exactly?
Alex, we were getting worried. I'm gonna need a breaker bar and the rest of my kit. I can't fix this boat without them.
Alright, I'm on it.
That's all he gets? I mean, I can understand why you wouldn't feel anything for Alex, but that's a pretty cold thing to do to a guy who is sacrificing his life so you can escape. Why not just tell him he's like a brother to you while you're at it? Really grind it in his final moments that he was in the deepest reaches of the friend zone and had no chance.
Okay, this stupid ass rant suggests this guy has issues, but yeah, I could remove a sin here, because yeah, that's all he gets?
For no reason whatsoever, Laura opens the handle of this katana and finds a plot important note. Would it have been too difficult to have Laura hear something rattle inside at first? Isn't that how this trope is supposed to work?
Laura likely felt that the handle was hollow. That's what gave her the idea. And I know this was your first video, and it's far too late at this point, but would it kill you to invest in some spell checks?
I have failed, my queen. The ritual was corrupted. The priestess knew only death could save her and took her own life.
So the girl who was originally going to be Himiko's new body found out and killed herself before Himiko could take it. So why couldn't Himiko just choose someone else? It was even stated earlier that there were other candidates. Why turn yourself into a vengeful corpse that sits on top of a tower for the next 1,000 years in hopes that one of your ancestors shows up?
Another absolutely ridiculous question. You really should have paid attention to the documents that you can find throughout the island. They provide so many critical and important story details, and so many of them completely debunk damn near this whole fucking video. Anyway, the reason Himiko didn't simply choose someone else is because this ritual was incredibly secretive. Himiko only chose one candidate to undergo this ritual in order to keep up the facade she was hiding to her priestesses of the sun. Besides, once Hoshi discovered the truth and committed suicide as the ritual began, Himiko went into a rage. In her rage, a powerful storm manifested that wiped out her own people. Also, constantly misspelling Himiko's name again.
During the attack, Whitman took Sam and they disappeared.
Sam gets kidnapped again, making this her second go around on the kidnapping train and the 6th time overall in this game that a woman is kidnapped by men. 7 if you include the one time Reyes was captured as well.
Really interesting how you're cherry picking the women in this game being captured or kidnapped, yet you don't mention how Alex, Jonah, and Whitman were captured as well.
Why doesn't Lara shoot Matthias right now? She has a clear shot and he doesn't know she's there.
Lara, for one, didn't have a gun ready, and I'm sure she didn't just expect to find Matthias and Samantha right here. Besides, Whitman's foolish actions kept Lara's attention.
This big guy kicks open the gate and walks out in this scene, and then walks out again in the next.
Dartigan points things out on the screen.
In this shot, these flames cover the entire entrance. In the next, there's a convenient gap for Matthias to drag sand through,
which Himiko was responsible for. Remember when she did this?
Yourself, brothers! Our queen is about to speak! Speak to us, Himiko!
Sam!
Speak to us through the flame!
Oh, I'm so sorry. Just look at me. Look at me, okay?
She's the one.
Waist high flames. Nope, couldn't possibly jump over that. I mean, Lara has only ran through 2 burning buildings already in this game. Arrows again.
Wait, what was that?
Waist high flames. Nope, couldn't possibly jump over that. I mean, Lara has only ran through 2 burning buildings already in this game. Arrows again.
This may have been your first video, but epic fail.
Again, Lara, didn't you learn anything from the last time? You have a pistol and an assault rifle. Just saying.
You see how they just bounced off of her? Yeah? Okay. Just saying.
How does an ancient Japanese empress understand English?
I love how your suspension of disbelief works in this video. It is truly a thing of wonder. Oh, and there's evidence to believe Matthias and Himiko have some kind of mental connection based on this document.
The years pass and I now hear her whispers in my sleep. It is the Sun Queen. She is urging me on. I see her magnificent face with every sunrise. Soon now.
This suggests Himiko has some sort of power to play with someone's mind. I'm no ghost expert, but a possibility is that Himiko manipulating Matthias can manifest itself in ways that a language barrier is not a problem.
Did Lara somehow forget that Matthias was still there? He was standing just a few feet to the left of where you were aiming. How did he take you by surprise?
No. In fact, Lara looked around at first to see if she spotted Matthias, and he hid from her view, obviously. This is why Lara decided to go again after Himiko, and how Matthias took Lara by surprise.
Matthias fires 1 bullet, knocking the bow out of Lara's hands, then tackles her like a dumbass rather than empty the clip into her.
The real sin here is that Matthias has another fully loaded weapon which Lara takes from him instead of using it himself. You don't point that out, so sin on you.
A stick? That's what you used to kill a body-stealing undead witch. Yeah, it worked, but you had 2 pistols on you. Use the right freaking weapon for once.
I don't see a problem with Lara killing Himiko this way. She plunged a torch into her chest, burning her entire undead body. Shit, Lara gets points here for creativity and being an absolute badass.
Single beam of sunlight illuminates the main character's ending cliché.
The beam of sunlight is actually a signal that the storms are over, genius.
Hell no.
Hey everyone, OmegaBlackHeart here again. Thank you guys for your continued patience and support in enjoying this video series of mine. I've got some more videos planned, including several heavy hitters, and I will do my best to release them as soon as I possibly can with my currently reduced hours. If you want to see more of the stuff I do besides these Everything Wrong With videos, check out some of the 60+ playlists I have, or my Instagram. But anyway, I'll catch you guys on my next vid. Stay safe everyone, and take care of those around you.